Hey, juniors. Just wanted to give you a heads up of what is going to happen for you guys for the week of May 11th. All right. So here is your weekly breakdown for May 11th. All right. So we're still here. We're still in Unit 9, short-term causes of World War II. If we go to our handy-dandy table of contents right here, we're going to be starting with 9.2. I'm not going to do a flip for Italy. It's relatively short, pretty straightforward, easy to understand, and in the grand scheme of things, quite insignificant. So I'm going to have you guys kind of flip through this on your own, flip through the PowerPoint, and a tiny assignment will come from that. Moving on to 9.3, the short-term causes of World War II for Japan. I do have a flip here, so you guys are going to be watching that. And taking some notes. All right, so your first assignment is going to be, if we look right here, watch the flips on Japan, watch the flip on Japan and the PowerPoint on Italy, take notes, post the notes to Google Classroom, just like you have been doing, all right? So pretty straightforward there with that assignment. I want to highlight a few things about this video, the Japan one. One of the things that I go into is pretty sensitive of a topic. It's called the rape of Nanking. If we were in class, I would do a little bit more on this, but I felt it was a little inappropriate to do more over the internet when we're not kind of together, and I can kind of gauge your reactions to it. It's a super important topic, in my opinion. It's super undervalued in terms of history. So I wanted to make sure that I shed light on what happened in China in 1937, 38, 39. And if you're kind of offended by it, or if you don't like seeing images like that, I do apologize. I know that it's a hard topic to look at, but I tried to do the best I could as a history teacher on shedding light on a very dark situation. So apologies and forewarning for that part. But the big takeaway here on the Japan part is something called the embargo, right? And that's going to be a major reason as to why war breaks out in the Pacific in 1941, December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor. So that's the big takeaway. I need you guys to really focus on everything going on around that. Spoiler alert, here is 9.4, that last kind of treaty that I've been hinting at for months now, that offensive kind of military alliance that solidifies everything for Germany, Italy, and Japan, and says that if, the United States acts up against either one of them, all of them are going to go to war. That's called the Tripartite Pact right here, all right? I copied this right from history.com and threw it up here for you guys, so you can read that little part and throw whatever you want into the notes. It's really only one little thing here. But the assignments, let's go back to the assignments. So it's we're going to be using something called Kialo, which Mr. Miller actually kind of told me about, all right? And I heard it was very successful in the UK, so I'm going to adapt it to here. The video that I'm shooting is right here. The weekly breakdown is right here. All right. I have three discussions for you guys. One, appeasement was the correct choice in the 1930s. Two, a political cartoon discussion. So there's three really big political cartoons in that kind of German unit, 9.1. We've got the militarized goose. You've got Stalin and Hitler as bride and groom, and then you've got the King Kong one, all right, the gorilla on display. So within the political cartoon, there are three cartoons. And then right here, another question, which won't make sense to anyone watching this video because you have not watched the Japan stuff yet. But the embargo of Japan, I wish this would go away. The embargo of Japan by the United States was justified. So those are three questions. Right? So essentially the assignment that you're going to do, so step one, view this document right here. All right, I'm going to take you right to it. It's an assignment breakdown. Step one, you're going to pick one of those three discussions. All right, and if you pick the political cartoons, you're going to pick one of the three political cartoons. You don't need to do all three political cartoons. You're going to write a 250 to 300 word response to the discussion question. Your response should be well constructed with a claim as well as supporting evidence. The supporting evidence can be from the flipped classroom, but outside research is encouraged where applicable. All right. With the Japan one, with appeasement, you might want to do a little bit of kind of outside research. If you look at the Unit 9 PowerPoint, not the flips, the PowerPoint, I do have a couple slides on appeasement, so you guys can kind of check those out. I didn't do a flip on it because, again, it's just kind of, it's self-explanatory. Your response should also have a concluding statement. All right, I need you guys to get better at writing short, succinct conclusions. All right, making a point, backing up that point, and then stating that point one final time, very, very, very strongly. All right. If you do the political cartoons, ignore everything that I just said. All you have to do is do a paper 1, question B, except I want you to hold to the word limit. So question 1B is probably going to be shorter than 250 words when you write it out because of time. But for this, I want you to fully explain everything in 250 to 300 words. All right. So that is part 1 of next week, the week of the 11th. All right. Part 2, you're going to respond to 3 classmates' posts. All right. If you go back to this assignment breakdown, I have a little breakdown here about what a response post should look like. It should be about 100 words. It shouldn't be, yes, good, I agree. It should be a little bit longer than that, a little bit more explained. You can agree or disagree. And this could be any classmate. It doesn't have to be a classmate of yours physically, any year 1 student. And it could be from any of the discussion posts. So if you do appeasement was the right choice in the 1930s is kind of your main discussion, and then you really want to answer something or respond to something about the Goose Step cartoon, you can do that. All right. It does not need to be from your original discussion. All right. So you have to do those 3 responses for step 2. All right. For step 1 of part 2. And then lastly, you're going to complete a CCC worksheet on one of the following events: the Anglo-German Naval Agreement, the invasion of Abyssinia, the rearmament of the Rhineland, the Munich Agreement, and the Second Sino-Japanese War. All right. This is a CCC worksheet. Wait for it. All right, this is a CCC worksheet topic. You're going to write one of the topics I just said. What caused that topic? What were the consequences? What were the effects of that thing and the connectivity? So, for example, if I did, wait for it. What do I want to say? The Nazi-Soviet pact, right? The connectivity. What are some things that led that to happening? So you're going to want to mention things like the Munich Agreement. You might even want to go all the way back to the League of Nations and how Stalin was kind of never included in the West and has been alienated by the West for a very long time. So there's a lot of connectivity that you can bring in. So this is using kind of the entirety of the course. And then a short summary where you're putting everything together and saying how that one event kind of folds into the larger story of history, the larger narrative. That's it. That's the whole week. I don't think it should be too bad from a work perspective. I look forward to your kind of discussion posts. I look forward to you guys interacting with each other again. I think that that's definitely been missing, and I wanted to try to incorporate that. And we'll see how this goes. If this discussion is a disaster, we won't do it again. If it goes really well, we'll do it a couple more times before the end of the year. If you have any questions, let me know. And as always, be good.